if you feel that pressure of modern life, demanding immediate decisions, where all the incoming information creates less of a clear plan and more of a stressful, frantic cacophony.
Oh, absolutely. You're certainly not alone there.
It just feels like constant urgency makes getting real perspective almost impossible.
That pressure to react instantly, it's probably the defining strategic challenge today. We're constantly stuck in response mode.
Right. No time to actually think.
Exactly. And that stops us from building any kind of robust long-term framework. It's impossible to keep your balance when you're just chasing the latest notification.
That's precisely the struggle we want to dig into today. We've pulled together some really powerful sources, strategic, military, philosophical wisdom.
A real mix.
Yeah, and they reveal that true strategic mastery isn't really about just generating clever, quick tactics. It's about composing something much deeper. We're calling it the Symphony of Wisdom.
I like that framing. And what's fascinating, I think, is how this approach focuses almost entirely on your internal architecture first. Preparing yourself to operate effectively out there in the world.
So it gives you structure.
Right. Structure not just for navigating complexity, but actually thriving in it.
Okay, so our mission in this deep dive is to unpack the three essential movements of this strategic symphony. First up, the crucial opening, the courage to see clearly, all about self-knowledge and perspective.
Then the second movement, learning as a lifelong practice. Continuous growth, humility, that kind of thing.
And finally, the absolute anchor, character as foundation.
Indispensable.
By mastering the interplay between these three, you basically gain the instruments you need to handle challenges with strength and grace and sustainability, too.
A tall order, but achievable.
Let's start with that first movement, then, the courage to see clearly. It begins by confronting what the strategic thinker Robert Greene calls the core obstacle to success, the fog.
Ah, yes, the fog.
He says if we fail to see events for what they are and fail to know ourselves, then strategy is basically pointless.
And that fog, it's everywhere, isn't it? It clouds our judgment because we're running on borrowed ideas.
Strategies that worked for someone else, maybe?
Exactly, or just mechanical responses, old habits kicking in. But the most dangerous part of the fog, I think, is often the emotional infection we catch from other people.
What do you mean by emotional infection?
Well, you start reacting to their anxiety, their sense of urgency, their goals, instead of focusing on your own reality, your own situation.
Right, you get swept up. So we fall into this trap of just imitating without thinking. Operating on habit or someone else's playbook makes our decisions kind of weak, brittle.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Which leads to this counterintuitive maneuver our sources recommend, especially for our always-on culture retreat.
Retreat. That sounds like the opposite of what we're usually told.
It seems contradictory, doesn't it? Our culture screams, move forward, attack, react.
Always be advancing.
But the source material is clear. If you are always advancing, always attacking, always responding to people emotionally, you have no time to gain perspective. Strategic retreat isn't weakness. It's actually the ultimate move of self-command.
Okay, so if the real enemy is that internal disorder, that confusion, how do we tell the difference between staying calm, that art of self-possession Sun-Tzu talks about, and just being passive or indecisive? What does active waiting really look like?
That's a great question. Active waiting is all about mental preparation. Sun Tzu advises to remain disciplined and calm while waiting for disorder to appear amongst the enemy is the art of self-possession.
So it's not just sitting back.
Not at all. It's using that pause, that time you've gained to rigorously analyze the situation. You question your assumptions, make sure your internal state is rock steady, like a modern version might be closing your office door for an hour.
Unplugging completely.
Yes, unplugging. And using that quiet space to maybe run a pre-mortem on your current plan. Look for vulnerabilities before they bite you.
That dedicated space, that quiet, it allows for a really profound shift in thinking, doesn't it? And this calm focus, this is what enables true flexibility. I'm reminded of Bruce Lee here.
Ah, yes. His idea of mastery.
Have no way as way, no limitation as limitation.
That philosophy, it's like the ultimate strategic expression of Sun Tzu's self-possession. It means you're so deeply rooted in self-knowledge because you face the fog, you understand your own mind, that you don't actually need a rigid, pre-baked plan.
You become the adaptable structure.
Exactly. You react fluidly, not mechanically, because you use that retreat time to understand the deepest currents of whatever conflict or situation you're in.
Okay, that sets a really disciplined tempo for the first movement. Now, let's transition maybe to the andante of our symphony. The second essential theme, learning as a lifelong practice.
Right, and our sources point out this almost tragic misconception about when education is supposed to end.
Yeah, this is Ryan Holiday's observation, isn't it? That we often accidentally show kids that graduation is a final destination.
It's subtle, but powerful. By their actions, many adults sort of communicate that the reward for growing up is that the hard, humbling work of learning finally stops.
We celebrate the end of learning, not learning itself.
Exactly. It makes wisdom seem like this commodity you acquire, a box you check off in your 20s.
Rather than something you have to keep cultivating.
Right. But the most powerful counterargument to that myth comes from history. The story of Emperor Marcus Aurelius.
Oh, this is a great one.
Yeah, imagine the scene. Late in his reign, the most powerful man in the world, right? His word commands armies, empires, and a friend spots him carrying a stack of books through the Roman Forum.
Just walking along with his books.
And the friend asks, where are you going? And Aurelius says he's off to a lecture on Stoicism because, and this is the key part, learning is a good thing, even for one who is growing old.
It's just astounding, isn't it? A man with literally unlimited power and resources still sees himself as a student. It totally reframes ambition.
It does. But it also raises a practical challenge for you listening.
Okay, yeah. What about the person juggling a demanding job family? How do they find time to carry books around and go to lectures?
And that's where we need to ground the philosophy, right?
Hey.
Aurelius's example isn't really about time necessarily. It's about priority.
Ah, okay.
Can't all attend university lectures, obviously. But maybe you can dedicate 20 minutes a day to a really deep book. Or rigorously review your week's decisions on a Friday afternoon. Learning isn't always some grand event. It's often a micro-practice.
Little bits consistently.
Exactly. We need those constant new inputs. Otherwise, that self-knowledge we gained in the retreat phase just gets stale.
That urgency, that need to keep growing, is captured perfectly by Gandhi's quote. It sets up this essential paradox we have to live inside. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever.
That paradox, it forces us to operate in two time frames at once, doesn't it? The urgency of mortality should drive our actions today. Make sure we don't waste time on trivial stuff.
But the live forever part.
That should instill the humility and patience we need for continuous deep growth. It really makes you confront how much time gets wasted on things that, frankly, neither prepare us for tomorrow nor give us meaning today.
And the beauty here, I think, is that this pursuit, this learning, it's available to everyone, regardless of natural talent or where you started. Kevin Kelly offers great reassurance here.
What does he say?
Talent is distributed unfairly, but there is no limit on how much we can improve what we start with.
That's critical. Such a key realization. Natural talent might give some people a head start, sure, but it's the discipline of continuous learning that ultimately bridges that gap between raw potential and developed, sustainable wisdom.
Improvement is a commitment.
It's a commitment, not a gift. It takes humility to accept feedback, patience to revisit the basics again and again.
Okay, so that commitment to self-improvement through learning, it feels like it needs an anchor, which brings us perfectly to the third movement, character as foundation.
Yes, if the first movement is about seeing clearly and the second is about acquiring knowledge and skill.
Then the third is about sustainability and impact.
Exactly. We have to shift focus here. Character often gets treated purely as a moral code, kind of separate from strategy. But our sources insist it's a strategic necessity, a long-term investment.
How so?
Well, how you behave, your integrity, it directly determines your ability to build trust, to attract strong partners, to sustain effective action when things get tough, when the pressure mounts.
Without that foundation, even the most brilliant strategy or the deepest learning will eventually just crumble, right? Under stress or suspicion.
Absolutely. And our sources are quite explicit, listing 4 really important words for collaboration and even self-governance: love, honesty, truth, and respect.
Simple words, but profound in practice.
Immensely. If we lack honesty, especially with ourselves, that lack of integrity poisons everything. Our internal operations, our external interactions, it makes sustainable partnerships impossible. And long-term strategic success often depends entirely on those partnerships.
And this foundation, it operates on multiple levels, from personal dealings right up to systemic stability. Shakespeare gives great advice for sort of internal guidance. Love all, trust a few, do wrong to none.
That's a powerful guide for managing yourself in complex, high-stakes situations.
But the impact ripples outwards, doesn't it?
Massively. Martin Luther King Jr.'s warning, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere," shows us that personal character, or the lack of it, is never insulated. It affects the entire ecosystem you operate in.
Relationships, partnerships, communities.
All of it. Strategically speaking, if your actions create distrust or instability, your own ability to act successfully just shrinks exponentially sometimes.
There's that clear link between the moral dimension and high performance, like the principle that all great champions are strong on the inside.
Yes. External achievement flows directly from that internal fortitude,
Yeah.
and that fortitude is built through countless small principled choices made every single day.
And that internal strength, it doesn't just show up in big moments or crises. I love the specific, grounded wisdom from the designer Elsa Schiaparelli.
Hmm? What does she say?
She observed, "A good cook is like a sorceress who dispenses happiness."
Huh. That sounds deceptively simple.
It does, but it's profound, isn't it? It shows how mastery in any domain, even something seen as routine, like cooking, can be a form of service, a form of wisdom.
Right. Transforming everyday tasks into moments of excellence and generosity. Character shines through when you treat the small daily stuff with the same integrity you'd apply to the big important decisions.
And that accumulation builds the champion.
That's the internal strength.
Okay, so now we arrive at the orchestration, the real deep dive.
Okay.
How do these three movements, seeing clearly, lifelong learning character, actually play together? Because they have to harmonize.
They absolutely have to. Self-knowledge gained in retreat, if it's not refreshed by continuous learning, just gets stale and rigid.
And learning without character.
That's just technical skill without a soul. Virtuosity without consequence or meaning. They need each other.
So how do they integrate? What's the catalyst?
Often it seems to be acceptance. There's that powerful anonymous wisdom. When I accept myself just as I am, then I can change.
Ah, okay. That feels like the bridge between the first movement, seeing clearly, and the third, character.
Exactly. Self-acceptance isn't complacency. It's that honest perspective you gain during your strategic retreat. Seeing yourself clearly allows for genuine transformation. You can't improve what you refuse to even acknowledge.
And we need to keep this grounded, right?
Yes.
Make sure it's about daily, actionable choices, not just floating around in abstract thought. Benjamin Franklin gives us that perfect, practical nudge. Don't put off until tomorrow what you can get done today.
Yes. True wisdom isn't some sudden lightning bolt of insight. It's built up. It's the accumulation of small, consistent choices.
Choosing today to seek perspective.
Choosing today to learn something new, however small.
Choosing today to act with integrity, even when it's hard.
These small daily compositions, they are what build that massive capacity we're calling strategic wisdom.
And this capacity, the resulting strength and flexibility, the decisiveness that comes from humility, the effectiveness rooted in integrity, you only get it when those three movements are flawlessly in sync.
Disciplined retreat for perspective, commitment to learning forever, and that solid anchor in principled character.
It sounds like a lifetime's work.
And maybe that's the ultimate, most joyful lesson from all this collected wisdom. The realization that wisdom itself is an endless practice. Like the emperor carrying his books. You're not working towards some final endpoint.
You're working towards continuous improvement, becoming.
Right. So the ultimate strategic goal isn't conquering something external or reaching some final destination of knowledge or wealth. Our sources suggest the real victory lies in the endless, joyful work of composing the person we are capable of becoming.
That's a powerful idea, this composition that only you can write.
And it's built day by day, choice by choice.
So, as you finish listening to this deep dive, maybe consider this. What note will you choose to compose today? Which discipline practice, maybe a moment of strategic retreat, a commitment to learn something specific, or a deliberate choice of character, which note will move your personal symphony towards harmony?
The adventure starts now.